Hello YouTube, it's Emma10 here, and as promised, here is a updated Hieratic Dragon deck for you guys, because some of you guys did request quite a bit, are we going to see another updated version of it? So here it is, and as you can see there have been quite a few changes to it as well. I've tried to make it a bit more pure Hieratics as much as possible. And as I said, the deck is about 95% complete. I still need about 5 or 6 more cards, and then hopefully next video on the Hieratics will be a real life deck video. So until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Before I actually start, just because it's the archaeology side of me and everything, and it's ancient Egypt, I'm going to give you guys a brief history lesson on the Hieratics themselves. The Hieratics, or the Hieroglyph Dragons, are actually based on the Ennead, which is a group of 9 mythical ancient Egyptian gods and goddesses, which were the basis for the creation myths in the city of Heliopolis, which was the main cult of the sun. And it's still visible today in ancient Egypt, and you can still go and visit. The ancient Egyptian name for Heliopolis was actually Inu, whereas Heliopolis is actually a Greek name. So with each of the gods and goddesses, I'll obviously explain what their names mean, who were the gods and goddesses of, and I do hope you guys enjoy. But just to get the structure right, or the pyramid of the god and goddesses right, first we have Ra, who's the father of all gods. He also had a human form called Atum. Then we have Su and Tefnu, and then we have Geb and Nut, and then there was Osiris, Isis, Nephthys, and Set. So those were the 9 Egyptian gods. As I said, I'll explain them as I go through the Hieratic Dragons, and here we go. Okay, first off is the Hieratic Seal of the Sun Dragon Overlord, a level 8, 0 attack, 0 defense normal dragon monster. The main focus of the deck is to try and get this dragon out as much as possible so you can overlay into rank 8s very easily. This is actually the sealed form of the Overlord of Heliopolis, aka basically this is supposed to be the Ra form, or the Ra form of the Hieratic Dragons. Then we have 3 Hieratic Dragon of Iset, who is Isis in ancient Egyptian mythology, and she is the goddess of magic, motherhood, mother of Horus, the god of the sky, wife of Osiris, and you can normal summon this card with attributing, but its original attack becomes 1000, so in a way it's kind of like a Vice Dragon. Once per turn you can target one face-up dragon normal monster that's on the field, and the levels of all face-up Hieratic monsters become the same level. Most of the Hieratic Dragons have an effect where when they get tributed themselves, they can special summon a dragon type normal monster from the hand, deck, or graveyard and make its attack and defense 0. And Isis is actually a part of a Hieratic engine, which I'll go into more detail later once we get into more of those cards. And actually on Isis's head there you can actually see the throne hieroglyph, which was a pun for her name, Iset. Then we have 3 Hieratic Dragon of Nephbet, who was Nephthys in ancient Egyptian mythology. She is the goddess of funeral rites and of the night. She's also the sister of Isis. You can special summon this card from your hand by tributing a Hieratic monster. Once per turn you can tribute Hieratic monster except this card to target a monster on the opponent's side of the field and destroy it. And again, it's got the Hieratic effect of special summon a dragon type monster when it gets tributed. And she's got slightly more attack than her sister. And again, on her head you can see her hieroglyph for her name there. I believe that's supposed to represent a funerary pillar, which was very significant in ancient Egyptian mythology. Then we have 3 Hieratic Dragon of Geb, or Geb, who was the god of earth in ancient Egyptian mythology, and he's actually the father of Isis and Nephthys. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon a dragon type normal monster from the hand, deck, or graveyard to make its attack and defense 0. And when this card is tributed, you can special a Hieratic normal monster from the hand, deck, or graveyard. So this is one of the few Hieratic Dragons that doesn't have the exact same effect, but it's got a pretty good effect anyway. Then we have 3 Hieratic Dragon of Nut, who's the goddess of the sky, wife of Geb, and mother to Isis and Nephthys. Once per turn during either player's turn, when this face-up card is targeted by a spell, trap, or card effect, you can special summon a dragon type monster from the hand, deck, or graveyard to make its attack and defense 0. Again, she does not have the effect of when she is tributed, she can special summon a normal dragon monster from the graveyard. Then we have Hieratic Dragon of Tefnu, who was the goddess of moisture. She is the daughter of Ra. She's the white mother, of Geb and Nut. If your opponent controls a monster and you control none, you can special summon this card from the hand, so it's basically a cyber dragon for the Hieratics. It can't attack during the same turn it's summoned, but again, when it's tributed, you can special summon a dragon type normal monster from the hand, deck, or graveyard. And again, she is actually part of this hieroglyph hieratic engine, which consists of, so far, Isis, Nephthys, and Tefnu. And the final part of this engine is 3 Hieratic Dragon of Su, who was the god of air, wife of Tefnu, father to Geb and Nut. You can special summon this card from your hand by tributing 1 Hieratic monster. Once per turn, you can tribute 1 Hieratic monster except this card to target a spell or trap card that the opponent controls and destroy it. So it's basically a opposite effect of Nephthys. And again, when it's tributed, you can special summon a normal type dragon monster from the hand, deck, graveyard. Then we have Luster Dragon number 2 as a level 6 normal dragon monster to special summon, besides, of course, the Hieratic Seal Dragon Overlord. I know Water Dragon's got more attack points and it's a light type as well, but I prefer Emerald Dragon because it's more pretty. And then we have 1 Honest. This is the only non-dragon monster in the deck because, apart from Emerald Dragon, all the other dragons are light type, and this is pretty good for like winning games. It can also be very good for defense if I need to, and everything like that. So it's a pretty good card just for the Hieratics. So to explain how the Hieratic engine in full, you can do things like normal summon Esset, and then if you have Nephthys or Su, you can tribute off Esset for Nephthys and Su, and if you've got multiple copies of these cards, you can keep tributing them to special summon out the Hieratic Seal or Luster Dragon or any other normal dragon type monsters you control in the graveyard. Other ways also include special summoning Tefnu and then tributing that via multiple copies of Nephthys or Su, which gets the engine going. Now there are 2 Hieratic dragons that I do not use in the deck, and that is Osiris and Set. Now Set, if you can see here, is known as the Hieratic Dragon of Sutek. He was the brother of Osiris and of Isis and Nephthys, and he was the god of chaos and evil and the desert and everything negative in ancient Egyptian lore. But funnily enough, if Ra is ever in danger, he is the strongest one to protect Ra, which is quite an interesting twist. And the card creators actually kept faithful to his chaos side by that this card cannot be normal summoned or set, but special summoned by banishing 3 dragon type monsters from the graveyard, and then once per turn you can banish a dragon monster from the graveyard to target a card on the field and destroy it. And that's pretty cool. Now, if I was building a Hieratic deck based around using his effect to maximum, then I probably would do that way, but since I've gone for a basic Hieratic build, I can't find really any room to use Sutek, and I'd rather keep the 3 overlords, obviously, to overlay with the most as well. I'd rather not put in any more non-dragon type monsters or normal dragon type monsters. As I said, I'm trying to keep this as pure as possible, but Sutek unfortunately can't fit in this deck version at the moment. The other one that I haven't used is the Hieratic Dragon of Azir, who is Osiris in Egyptian mythology, the god of the dead, mummification, wife of Isis, father of Horus, the sky god. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing a light type dragon monster and 1 dragon normal monster from the graveyard. If this face up card on the field would be destroyed, you can tribute 1 face up Hieratic monster instead to protect it. So in a way, it's got that immortal effect to it, that it can't be destroyed as long as something else is tributed, which is what Osiris has. You know, he's immortal because he's a mummy and he's the god of the dead, judgment of the dead and everything, which is pretty cool. But again, I didn't want to have that chaos aspect in the deck. Even though I'd love to use all forms of the Hieratic dragons, it's actually very difficult to build a good Hieratic deck with all the forms without like messing it up, and I didn't want to have any banish or chaos elements in the deck if possible. So that's a pity there. Oh yes, and silly me, how could I forget? And Set's wife is actually Nephthys, the goddess of the funeral rites. I nearly forgot to mention that. How silly of me. Anyway, that's it for the monster count. So I've pretty much got the main Hieratic engine there, and I've got the focus of getting out this guy in order to overlay with as much as possible. I've got Lustre Dragon number 2 as a sort of backup for level 6s, and I've got Honest in there just because it's very good at winning games and it combos really well with the Hieratics. Onto the spell cards now. We have 2 Hieratic Seal of Convocation, which adds Hieratic monsters from the deck to the hand. 3 Hieratic Seal of Supremacy, which special summons Hieratic monsters from the hand. I'd rather use this over Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon because, again, this is just a fun build at the moment. I don't want to use Red Eyes Darkness Metal because I want to keep this as pure Hieratic as possible. Then we have the staples of Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Monster Born, 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. Now, I know there are quite a few builds that use the abilities of Forbidden Lance as well, but sadly Forbidden Lance, from what I've heard, is becoming more expensive and harder to get, so I'd rather use something that's a bit more easier to use, to be honest, rather than Forbidden Lance. So 3 MST is pretty good for that. Then we have 3 Hieratic Seal from the Ashes. This is basically a Foolish Burial, Burial from a Different Dimension, and a Call of the Haunted or Monster Born all in one. For example, once per turn, during your opponent's turn, you can send 1 Hieratic monster from the deck to the graveyard. There's your Foolish Burial. Once per turn, during your own turn, you can target one of your banished Hieratic monsters and return that target to the graveyard. There's your Burial from a Different Dimension. And then when this face-up card is sent to the graveyard, target a Hieratic monster in the graveyard and special summon it. There's your Monster Born or Call of the Haunted. And then we have 3 Hieratic Seal of Reflection, which is a counter trap card. This is basically a solemn judgment for the Hieratics. When a spell card, trap card, or monster effect is activated, tribute 1 Hieratic monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Now, because it's tributing Hieratics, you will get, most of the time, you will get their effects going off. So this is quite a good little card. But as I said, it's just basically a solemn judgment for the Hieratics. So that's the main card there, main deck there, 40 cards. Over to the extra deck now, I have 2 Hieratic Dragon King of Atum. As I explained before, Ra had a human form called Atum, who was just basically who looked like a normal pharaoh, but was actually Ra in a human form. It's a rank 6 and it needs 2 level 6 dragon type monsters, so Lustre Dragon number 2 with Isis's ability, or if I get 2 Tefnu out or 2 Su out, then I can overlay into them. Once per turn I can detach 1 XYZ material from this card and special summon a dragon type monster from the deck, and its attack and defense becomes 0. This card cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. So this is pretty another good way of getting out any dragon you need if you want to get out combos, or just, for example, getting out maybe this guy to overlay with and combo it with, say, Hieratic Dragons of Isis or anything else that's on the field. And then finally, 3 Hieratic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. That's just basically Ra unleashed. Rank 8, 2 level 8 monsters. Once per turn you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card, tribute any number of monsters from your hand and or your side of the field, minimum of 1, and then destroy an equal number of cards on the field. So selective destruction, which is pretty cool. And main focus, the main way to get into this is just Hieratic Sun Dragon Overlord, and especially if it's combined with Isis's effect to make other Hieratics level 8, you could get multiple copies out maybe in one turn. And because you're tributing monsters, if you have other Hieratics that are on the field, then their effects can go off, so you can get out even more monsters to overlay with, especially since you've detached XYZ materials. If you've got multiple copies, you can just keep reusing these guys over and over again. Or even reusing, like, say, Lustre Dragon over and over again if needed, if you want to get into King of Tomb and everything. So anyway, guys, that is my Hieratic deck. I hope you enjoyed. As I said, the actual deck itself has only needs about 5 or 6 more cards, and then it's complete. Hopefully next time I will do a Hieratic video, it will be a real life one. But till then, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the brief history lesson I gave to you, and I'm sorry for rambling on about it. It's just that's my archaeology side talking to me, since I am an archaeologist, and this sort of thing has always fascinated me ever since I was a little girl, so yeah. Anyway, as I said, hope you enjoyed, take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye!